1 week later.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Let's go. And I'm glad I wrote down notes. Otherwise, I would have been like, what was I even talking about?
I was honestly thinking, what were you talking about? I know it was.
I know.
But what are you talking about?
I was talking about expectations.
All right.
So, okay. So I believe, especially when you're interacting with humans, I think it's very important to express your expectations. This helps you come across as transparent because you're being honest about what you're expecting from them. And it helps you understand that regardless of if you express them or not, they're going to be there. Expectations happen regardless. They're going to be there. Yeah. And it's not a bad thing to have expectations. It's harder when you don't share them. Because here's the thing, when you share your expectations with someone, they can either help you reach that expectation or reality check you. They can be like, honey, this is your first time juggling. There's no way that you're going to get it at 100% the first time you try, right? They're going to reality check you. They're going to be like, or they're going to bring up their opinions or their worries. And instead of taking them personally, you can have it like you're interacting with someone, right? And you both can be looking at this situation and they can be like, well, this doesn't look right over here. This doesn't look right over here. And instead of you being like, I can't believe you're attacking me, you can be like, thank you for letting me know this because maybe I didn't see this perspective because you're on this side and I'm on this side, right? So expectations are super important to express, even to the God or the, generator, operator, destroyer that you connect with, because you can say, this is what I'm expecting. I hope that it turns out this way. I'm going to do my best to make sure it does. Yeah. And I'm willing to accept it sooner. I'm willing to receive in a different way. I just want to hold the intention. And that's what putting in the work looks like, is holding the intention and being and expressing and embodying what that looks like. So
I love that. Yeah. And it's almost like this, right? Like, I feel like as I've been kind of trying to work on this statement and trying to inculcate in my life, it's just the fact that it's not necessarily, I love the fact that you spoke about expectations and all of that, because that's literally what we do as coaches, right? Like, we set up expectations, and how we can reach them, create a roadmap basically. But I feel like as I've been trying to inculcate the statement, the realization of it is that don't stress out about the expectation, right? Like, let go of that stress. Have expectations, have desires. It's natural to have them, but don't stress out about, like, I feel like when we stress out too much about our expectations and desires, we start to focus on the expectation and not the journey, if that makes sense, right? Like, we start to kind of be like, I have to have this, right? Like, but why are you trying to reach there? How are you trying to reach there? I don't care, but I have to have this, right? Like, it becomes about the stress. So I feel like it's more, a clarifying way of saying that would be that letting go of the stress of the expectations and working towards whatever you want to work towards and having that intention, like you said.
Yes. And this actually lines up perfectly with the full moon, which is great. This has gone full circle. Full circle. Let's go. Okay. So
of the week.
Yes. So I have my journal. I'm reading my entries from January 1st and January 3rd of this year. So what happened during the new moon. And I want you to see how freaking relevant it is, because it's insane. Okay. Let's see. So a lot of this talks about, okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to go to my summary, because I summarized it yesterday after I read it. And I feel like my summary touches on everything and I don't have
summarizes
to
everything.
Skim it. Yeah, like it literally summary. So a few things that I wrote down January 1st of this year is allowing, I was upset that I was allowing so much of my, like, so much instant gratification and enthusiasm to take precedence over my goals, desires, values, and intentions. Right? Literally. Is that not what's happening right now? Is that not what's coming to light? Right?
It is.
So I literally asked myself yesterday, like, what themes from January are being brought to the light, because that's what the full moon does. It shines light on what had happened and what's like the themes are coming back up for a reason. Like, did you do what you said you were going to do? 50% kind of, like 60 maybe. So that's why I had to write about it, because I was like, I feel like something's off. So that was a big one. Just like, I feel the big opportunities on their way, still feel like that, right? I felt it in January. I feel it now. I talk about soulful structure and divine discipline. Okay. Discipline and dedication. There's a difference between motivation and dedication. Motivation isn't always there. And I feel like that's a misinterpretation of like what people think happy people are like. They're like, oh, you're always so motivated and inspired. It's like, honey, no, I'm freaking dedicated. That's what it is. I wake up and I do the things I said I'm going to do as much as I can, like as much as I can. And I try my best not to beat myself up if I don't. Like, that's the work. The work is integrity. The work is self-respect. And another theme is just being able to harness and guide your energy, right? This is all what this is about. Like, really being able to understand that where you place your energy right now is going to show you everything you need to know, basically. Like, oh, okay. Like, okay, I'm just going to go into the themes for this moon, okay? Okay. The themes for this moon are investing in yourself, time, energy, and money management, reparenting, aligned abundance, financial growth, optimism, ambition, integrity, legacy, and balancing home and work life. That's what I meant. Things that might be coming up for you right now are career, worthiness, success, quality of life, homework balance, self-nurturance, accountability, and responsibility.
Ooh, that hit me in all the right places.
Yes.
And did.
Right?
Yeah, but
right. So go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just that all the stuff has been coming up for me this week, and just the concept of, once again, like, like letting go of that. Before I get into that, the thing that you mentioned about motivation and dedication, oh, that hit me so hard, because I feel like we beat ourselves up a lot when we don't feel motivated with the work that we do, right? Like, I love to coach, and there are days when I hate coaching, right? Like, I'm just like, I want to do this, right? Like, and not just coaching, like, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that it ends there. I have to be an entrepreneur. I have to be a marketer. I have to like be a copywriter. I have to manage money. I have to do all this stuff. And I would love to be a coach and just coach. Like, that would, if that was all there was to it, I would love to do that. But I know that there are so many other things that come up with opening your own business and doing stuff, right? And I feel like this goes out to all the entrepreneurs, everyone out there who's starting their own thing, is that you will end up feeling demotivated at times. And it's not you, it's not on your craft, it's not whether you still love the thing that you love to do or not. It's just the waves, right? Like, I was seeing your shirt, G, that time, it has the wave and all. And I'm just like, yeah, it's just the waves, it comes and it goes. And it doesn't mean that you're bad at what you're doing, doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be doing this. It's just, you have to be dedicated enough to still show up when you don't feel like showing up. Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that I wanted to touch upon. And the other thing that you mentioned, right, like, again, all these things have been kind of revolving in my life. It's just like, what am I planning on doing with my career, right? Like, where do I see this going? And we were speaking about this earlier, right? Like, where do we see all the stuff that we are working on going? And just the fact that, I'm in that zone where I'm just like, you know what, let's huddle down and let's work. Like, I have expectations. I no longer have the stress of the expectations, but I have expectations of what my life should look like, what I would like my life to look like, right? Should is a very powerful word. I'd rather say what I would like my life to look like. And like, not only in career but also in my family life, where do I see myself in the coming year, where do I see myself investing in, because I love investing in myself. Like, obviously. Yeah, obviously. Like I have to do it, right? Like it's just such a fun thing to be able to invest in yourself and grow and see yourself mature. And yeah, I mean, it's just fun that all these things are coming up. All the things that you said hit me so hard because I was just like, huh.
It's crazy how relevant it all is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And may I jump in now? Please?
Jump in.
Pretty
With my
please.
permission. Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
You
with
have my
your
blessing.
permission.
Yes.
I feel like I want to touch on dedication and motivation again. I feel like those are very important. I think it's dedication and motivation, like they kind of butt heads in a little bit, but because of work-life balance. And I think when COVID hit, it kind of melded the two where people now work from home a lot more, and we're kind of like blurring the lines of work and of personal life. And one thing that I've been doing is making sure I show up as myself regardless of where I am, but that doesn't mean I'm constantly going to like be performing as I would be at work at home, even though I work from home, right? So I think it's important to remember that while you're a coach, 100%, like while you can, I like to say, like, I'm not even like a coach, I'm not like a teacher, I'm not anything, I'm just Gisella-ing my life, in my life, like I'm being myself, and I add an ing,
In
like
and
the
as.
act of being, the act of being Gisella, like that's what I'm doing. And
I love that.
I want to remind myself, and I have to consistently, that just because I'm doing something I enjoy that doesn't involve like my career doesn't mean I'm wasting my time. It means I'm investing it in myself. And that's also with like the time, energy, money management, right? Like really being able to like realize like work-life balance looks different for everybody, but you are not your work.
Yeah.
You building a legacy doesn't look like working your life away. Yeah. It means you have a part of yourself that you're leaving behind, and you can't do that if you're working yourself to death, because then you don't have anything to leave behind. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So that's something I
want. Okay. Before you jump in, I have to say.
Go. Let's go.
This is my area, so I want to jump in and just say this, right? The fact that you were mentioning about how we consider time, like if we are not doing it career wise, it's like, what am I doing with my time? I feel like a lot of that has to kind of go for the fact that both of us kind of grew up in the era of every second needs to count, every second needs to count, every second needs to count. And that basically means that any second that doesn't count doesn't show up in a way that's like, this is giving me instant gratification, right? Like it doesn't make sense. Why would it make sense? Why am I spending time doing this? What's the point of me sitting down and watching, let's say, Avatar? Right? Like, what's the point of us doing that if it's not going to give me anything productive? And we sort of start to feel guilty when we are partaking in activities that don't necessarily have like a quick gratification. And again, money comes in because we kind of grew up in that capitalistic mindset of like everything needs to kind of make money for us, otherwise it's useless, kind of a thing, when it doesn't really. So like every second doesn't need to count out. You won't even realize half of the time what counts and what doesn't. Like I was watching this Korean drama a few days ago and I was just like, yo, this like I'm doing this, but I had a sense of guilt coming in. That's why I'm kind of taking away from my time from work. And then there were some points that kind of showed up and I was just like, this is so amazing, right? Like I would have never realized these concepts if it wasn't for this drama part showing it in this way, right? And I feel like a lot of times we don't realize what reward we are getting from a particular thing because it's kind of hidden behind a lot of layers. But when it does come forward, you're like, ooh, that was so worth it. Like watching that K drama was so worth it because I got this one point and that shifts my entire perspective. So just want to say that, you never know how your seconds are counting, right? Like, and if what you're doing now would even make a difference in how you see, like, would it have an impact when you look back at your life on your deathbed? This one thing that you're doing, would it have an impact or would not have an impact? Who knows? Like, we are probably worried about dying at that point. We're like, oh no, I wanna, like all of those thoughts, right? Like, I feel like we stress out a lot about things that don't need to be stressed out about, because of the way that we were kind of nurtured. Like, this is how you need to live your life. This is the path to success. Working yourself to the bone, burning the midnight oil. That's the only way you can succeed, right? Like, we have this thing in India where our parents were like, we had to kind of cross rivers and climb mountains and do all of these things to reach school. And you just have to like get on a bus and it leads you to where your school is. Like, you guys have it so easy, right? Fun, but again, not funny, haha. But
No, yeah, like parents are so excessive about that. They're like, I walked barefoot to get an education. Like, all you have to do is walk a block away, like get on the bus, and you're just like,
yeah,
man, like you don't even make me feel bad.
yeah. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do this with my kids too, because they'll be like, we are now in the era where kids get to sit in the house in their comfort, open a laptop, and just attend school, right? Like, I wish I had that. I could sleep. I could sleep during my Zoom classes.
No, Madhuri, not going to class.
Yeah. But hey,
I'm
wish
kidding,
I was
though.
like the perfect ideal student. I was like the most attentive first bench sitter kind of thing. I'd be like taking down notes, pushing my glasses up and be like, Miss, we forgot the homework.
Were we doing the pop quiz today? Yeah. That was you? No, Madhuri. Bro, I remember waking up in my car during fourth period with like half an eaten like box of pizza, and I'm like, oh, I have to go to class. I'm like, it's just like taking a nap during my periods of school. I'm like eating pizza in my car. That was me. The last year and a half of school was just like me dawdling around.
Yeah.
Barely graduated. I did though. Go team.
Go team.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to say that I feel like you never know if a second is going to count or not in where you are in your life. Like, all the work that I did, I studied my ass off to get into medical college, and here I am coaching people, right? And I took a very different route to reaching here. I went down the route of going into hotel management, then becoming a content and digital marketer, and then landing up with coaching, right? It wasn't the route that I envisioned, and it doesn't even count half of the time the things that I did. So I'm just saying that I feel like we put too much pressure on ourselves. And yeah, I was gonna say,
I think
yeah, but I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. I would like to jump in then.
Yes, go for it. Oh, I remembered, but okay, never mind. Go for it.
Okay. I wanted to talk about that. Like, you said that like I feel like we don't know how the second is going to count. We're the ones that determine what counts. When we say like, and I remember Preston asking us this question when we did like the 5-day workshop thing with him. And he was talking about like when we compare ourselves and we say like, oh, why am I not as successful? Like you can just ask yourself, like, more successful in what? Like what are you most successful in? Like, why are you jealous of this person because they can manifest like money, but you can manifest gratitude, you can manifest like peace, and they can't. And I have a student right now who's retired. Okay, he's old, very much older, and I was really worried I wouldn't be able to like connect or teach this man. And all he wants is like to be able to listen to his heart. And I was like, I'm an expert in that. This person came to me because he knows how to make money. He knows how to like manifest the material aspect of life, but he doesn't know how to follow his heart. He doesn't know how to listen to himself. We are all experts. We all put time and energy and money into learning specific skills that allow us to live life. And that is the work. Living life is the work. It's not it's not doing things and putting things together and like forcing. No, like it's just living life the way that you want to be living. It's allowing your heart to guide you. It's allowing the light to be revealed and constantly be revealed as you're moving through life.
Yeah. And you know, it's just because you don't know how to do something, it doesn't mean that you failed at it. It's just because you still have to learn it. And I was watching this one dude's, like, a short podcast snippet almost, and he was like, he was very successful, but he wanted to learn a lot about a lot of different things. So what he did was, he reached out to a therapist, and he was like, I need to know everything that you have learned about life in general after kind of working as a therapist for 20 years, being one of the top therapists in this region. What have you learned? Right. And what I can do is, before he said all of that, he was like, how much do you charge per, like, how much do you earn in a month? And the therapist was like, around $9,000. She was, so this guy went goes blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this guy then goes, you know what, I'll give you $9,000 for a day. You just tell me what all you have learned, like the golden nuggets almost that you can pick up
Mm.
from your career,
Mhm.
and I'll learn from you. Right. And this lady then goes ahead and asks for a 1.5 month basically to just study and bring together all the things that she thinks is wonderful and is liquid gold almost. Right. Sits him down over the course of 8 hours, tells him everything there is to know about life that she has learned. Right. Therapy, techniques, the golden nuggets that we think, like we kind of learn as we listen to podcasts and stuff like that. She put
Yeah.
together all of that and she gave it to him in 8 hours. And then he goes ahead and does the same exact thing with different people from different areas of life. Right. Like, what have you learned through your entire experience of 20 years, 30 years of working in this area? What have you learned? It's just like, damn, if I had money, I would be doing that. And I want to do that because that is
That sounds
so,
amazing.
that sounds amazing. Not
Being
only,
able to sit someone down and like just insert all of their knowledge into
yeah,
your brain.
it's crazy, right? And the thing is, at that point of time when you are sitting down and you are there to listen, you are at your peak consciousness. There are no boundaries kind of stopping you. You have let go of all the boundaries that we tend to have when we are learning something new, that no, that is not how it works. I have had a different experience. We have all these boundaries up whenever we are sitting in front of someone who is more learned than us. Right. Our instant reaction is our ego kind of showing up and being like, they don't know anything, we know everything, so you have to show off and run away. Like, you don't have to listen to them. Right. But in that moment, in that one day, this person had the opportunity to lower down all the boundaries and just take everything in like a sponge almost. And it's just like, that's so amazing. And it just shifted perspectives, right? Like, just because you don't know something doesn't mean that you're bad at it, doesn't mean that you should have learned it by now. It just means that, well, you now have the opportunity to learn about it. So are you going to learn about it, or are you going to whine about it?
Yeah. And I feel like that's like, I really like that how you ended that, because I feel like a lot of people love complaining. And that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it can be frustrating for someone that doesn't like it. Like, I used to hate when people complained. I was like, I'd be like, why don't you just do something about it? Like, here's like 18 different things you could do to fix your situation. And then I realized, like, people just like to complain. People just,
Yeah.
as humans, even our bodies do this, where we observe and report, observe and report. And that's what our body is doing when we feel anything. It's like, I'm feeling a little chilly right now. Letting you know, maybe we need a jacket. Like,
Yeah.
I'm letting you feel like I am hurting here. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. Like, when you realize you're just observing and reporting, you can understand, like, there's a filter that our ego, or like our body or our mind, like, puts in front of us. And like, we're faced with a situation or an opportunity, the filter comes up. How are you going to respond? You are the light. How can you diminish the filter? And how can you just look at the situation as light in order to, like, deal with it in a certain way, or respond to it in a certain way that allows it to be more of an opportunity than like a barrier or a challenge.
True.
And lately I have been saying like, what a beautiful opportunity to reveal the light. And like, I'll say it and I'm like pissed about it because I'm like in a situation I don't want to be in. And I'm like, what a beautiful opportunity to like turn on the light inside of me and like figure this out in the very like calm and like emotionally intelligent way. Like, what a beautiful opportunity. And I've been saying that. And even if it's like, I'm like, oh, I have to do this again. I'm like, I'm still priming my brain and priming my body. So like next time it happens, it's not as annoying.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm faced with the challenge. I'm like, ooh, this is an opportunity. I know it is. I can feel it. I'm like scared, but I'm excited because I know I'm going to learn from this.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure something out. Like, and then that's when I tune in and my body's like, do this differently, do this differently, do this instead. Like, remember how this worked out last time? Like, let's maybe like fix this and do it this way. And that's how you start priming your body, your nervous system, your brain to quite literally face a challenge and turn it into an opportunity to turn yourself on rather than go hide away or run or dismiss or lean out. It's like, now it's time to lean in because you don't want to. It's time to lean in.
Ooh, okay. I love that. I want to say, I feel like this kind of goes back to what we were speaking about, is that when you're faced with an opportunity, you can, again, as you were saying, I think we were speaking about spirituality earlier on in this conversation, and we were like, you can either dismiss it or accept it, right? And the dismissing comes from the fact that for so long we have been accepting the way that we have been living our life, that when presented with a new opportunity to change things, it's instantly like, no, let's not do that, because it's the unknown, right? Like, it's we don't know what's going to happen if we step into this opportunity, right? And there's more nervousness than excitement, but by saying that, "Ooh, what a beautiful opportunity to learn," you kind of amp up the excitement and boil down the nervousness. Go, let's do this, right? So I just love that. I just love the way that almost programming your brain to kind of respond instead of react.
I mean, that's all that the work is being able to remember that when your body is doing what it's supposed to do, which is observe and report, you're going to have these filters. And these filters, circling back, these filters are filling up that 99% of empty space. And that's what's bringing you back into this density, because this vibration, this emotion, this frequency that you're holding within yourself, this filter holds a specific frequency. And the more it sits there, the slower it moves,
I know, yeah.
the denser it gets, the more you're of this realm, right? So when you see the filter, you're like, awesome. I have just been faced with an opportunity, a situation where I can finally figure out the filter. I can take the filter, I can point at it, be transparent about it, and be like, guys, look at this situation outside of me. What do you think about it? How can I change this? How can I see it from your perspective, right? We're back to this thing that's outside of you. It's not part of you. When you're able to look at it and say, oh, that's the golden nugget. That's what I was missing. I just value this so much more than I've been accepting or acting on. So now that I know this filter, I can leave that energy. I can expel that energy. I can keep the golden nugget of energy, right? I keep the golden nugget of awareness, of consciousness, of understanding how I act, how I want to behave, place that inside of myself and re-energize that 99%.
Ooh.
Boom.
Love that.
Boom.
Boom.
That's what it is. That's the work. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Whew. I feel like that was so powerful. Do you want to end it here? Like, end it on a very high note?
Let's end it on this high note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's end it on this high note.
Yeah.
I think we touched on really beautiful things. Really being able to look back at what happened 6 months ago. How is it? What is coming back up for you? How are you going to be able to find that transparency and grace within yourself to find those new perspectives, or allow for the new perspectives, so you can start expelling those filters and filling yourself with more energy that you receive from the light this week? The light being the moon, which is reflecting the sun, which is, the giver of life in this realm.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. I love that ending. And honestly, I don't have anything to add on to it, but you guys, let us know in the comments what was your biggest takeaway from this episode, right? Like, what what resonated the most with you, and share your thoughts. I feel like it's really great to hear if it's not just us two crazy people talking about stuff. It's like there are more crazies out there.
But we know you're out there.
We know you're out
We
there.
know you're out there.
Yeah, so do us a favor and show up, because we'd like to hold you in all your craziness. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Wonderful.